Layla was 10 years old, but she lived like she was 15. The day she lost her doll Amira in the rubble, she didn't just lose her toy. She lost her childhood. But this isn't just a story about loss. This is a story about small hands creating big miracles. Because Layla learned to recreate everything she'd lost, all by herself, in the middle of a tent camp, without knowing how to sew. When Layla opened her eyes, the first thing she heard was silence. A strange kind of silence. Her ears were ringing. Then she heard her mother screaming. It sounded far away, like it was coming from another world. Then she felt the dust. It burned her throat. She tried to open her eyes but couldn't see. Everything was covered in a cloud of dust. "Mom," she tried to shout, but no sound came out. She coughed. She pressed her hands against the ground, tried to stand up. Something had fallen on top of her. Something heavy. Was it part of the ceiling? She didn't know. She only knew she had to move. "Layla, Layla, where are you?" Her mother's voice came through, clearer this time. Layla started crawling toward her. Her knees hurt. Her hands were covered in cuts, but she kept going. Then someone grabbed her. Her mother held her tight. "Sammy," Layla whispered. "Where's Sammy?" Mom didn't answer. She just dragged Layla forward, outside, through the rubble. Layla looked back. She couldn't recognize her home, because there was no home anymore. Just a pile of debris. Smoke was rising. Ambulance sirens were wailing. People were running, shouting, crying. "Sammy," Layla screamed. "Where's Sammy?" "Here." Another voice came. A man was holding Sammy, her 5-year-old little brother. His face was covered in dust, but he was crying. His crying was good. Crying meant he was alive. Layla ran to him, opened her arms. The man handed Sammy to her. Layla held her brother tight, stroked his hair. "You're okay," she whispered. "You're okay." But something inside her was saying nothing was okay. What Layla did next was truly shocking. When they woke up in the tent camp, Layla first looked at Sammy. He was sleeping next to her, breathing. He was okay. Then she looked at her mother. Mom was sitting in the corner of the tent, leaning against the wall. Her eyes were open, but her gaze was empty. She wasn't looking at anything. "Mom?" Layla said. No response. "Mom, you're hungry. Do you want something to eat?" Mom turned her head, looked at Layla, but she wasn't really looking. She just nodded. "You eat," she said. Her voice was hollow. Layla got up. Her legs hurt. They'd walked so much last night. From the camp entrance to here, the tent was small. 3 beds, 1 blanket, 1 water jug. Nothing else. She went outside. It was early morning. The sun hadn't risen yet, but the camp was waking up. People were waiting in line. There was bread distribution. Layla got in line. An old woman was in front of her. A young mother with a baby was behind her. When it was her turn, the volunteer asked, "For how many people?" 3, Layla said. Her voice was a child's voice, but her words were an adult's words. The man gave her 3 loaves of bread, 2 cans of food, 3 bottles of water. Layla tried to carry them. They were too heavy. She dropped one. She bent down and picked it up. The man looked at her. "Do you need help?" "No, thank you," Layla said. She gathered the supplies, slowly walked back to the tent. When she entered, Sammy was awake. Mom was still in the same position. "Breakfast is ready," Layla said. She gave bread to Sammy. To her mother, too. Mom took it but didn't eat, just held it. Layla took a piece for herself. The 3 of them just sat there. There was silence. They weren't talking. Then Sammy spoke. "Where are my toys?" Layla stopped. Couldn't swallow the bread. She looked at Sammy. In her brother's eyes, there was curiosity. There was innocence. He didn't understand yet. "At home," Layla said slowly. "They stayed at home. When are we going back?" Layla didn't answer. Mom didn't either. There was only silence. Sammy didn't understand, but Layla understood. They wouldn't go back, because there was no home to go back to. Right at this moment, everything changed. On the third day, Layla made a decision. She had to go back to their house, or what was left of it. Maybe she could find something. Clothes, blankets, something. She didn't tell her mother. She just told Sami, "I'll be back soon." She walked, left the camp, returned to the familiar streets. But the streets weren't familiar anymore. Everything was destroyed. There were no buildings, only rubble. People were still searching through the debris. Some were crying, some were just staring. Layla came to where their house used to be. She recognized it. She recognized where the door had been, where the stairs had started. But now there was no door, no stairs, just pieces of concrete, and dust, and silence. She knelt down, put her hands on the rubble, started digging. Stones cut into her hands. It hurt, but she didn't stop. She had to find something. She had to find Amira. She had to find Sami's toys. Something. She dug for an hour, maybe 2. The sun was rising. She was sweating. Her hands started bleeding, but she didn't stop. Then she saw something. A piece of blue fabric. Her heart raced. She kept digging. The fabric piece grew bigger. Was it a dress? Was it a toy? She pulled. It came out. It was a pillow, just a pillow. Layla's pillow. Dirty, torn, dusty. But it was something. She pressed it to her chest. It had a smell. It smelled like home, like her mother, like before. She cried, silently. Tears fell from her cheeks onto the rubble. "Amira," she whispered, "where are you?" But there was no answer. Only silence, and rubble, and loss. Then she saw something else, something small. It was shining in the sunday. She reached out, took it. It was a button, a plastic pink button. The button from Amira's dress. Layla recognized it, but there was only the button, no doll. She squeezed the button in her palm, took the pillow, stood up, looked back, at her house, or where her house had been. "Goodbye," she said quietly. Then she turned, walked back to the camp. Along the way, she collected other things too. She found fabric scraps. She found thread. She found a needle. She didn't know what she'd do with them, but she took them. Maybe they'd be useful, but she hadn't faced the biggest challenge yet. When she returned to the tent, Sami was crying. Mom was looking at him, but not comforting him. Just looking. Layla immediately ran to his side. "What happened? Why are you crying?" "I want a toy," Sami said. His voice was broken with sobs. "I want my car. I want my bear. I want my ball." Layla hugged her brother. "I know," she said. "I know." "Why didn't you bring them?" Sami asked. It wasn't an accusation, just innocent curiosity. "You said they were at home. Why didn't you bring them?" Layla didn't know what to say. How could she explain? How could she tell a 5-year-old that everything was gone? Destroyed? Never coming back? "They got lost," she finally said. "But I'll find new ones, I promise." Sami wiped his eyes. When? Soon. That night, Layla couldn't sleep. She hugged the pillow. She took out the pink button, looked at it. She thought about the fabric scraps she'd collected during the day. The thread, the needle. There was an idea, a small idea, maybe a silly idea, but it was something. When morning came, Layla took out the materials. She laid the fabric pieces on the ground. She took the biggest piece. It was red fabric. Was it from a dress? A curtain? She didn't know, but it was soft. She took the needle, tried to thread it. It was hard. Her hands were shaking. She succeeded on the 3rd try. Then she thought about what to do. She didn't know how to sew. Her mother hadn't taught her. She was too young, but she'd watched. She'd seen it on TV. She remembered something. She folded the fabric, twice, brought the edges together, pushed the needle through, pulled. It hurt. It had stuck in her finger. She sucked on her finger, tried again, more carefully this time. The needle went through the fabric. The thread followed. 1 stitch was done, then another one, then another. Slowly, but she was doing it. Sami was still sleeping. Mom had gone outside. Layla was alone, and she was sewing. 2 hours later, something emerged. It wasn't perfect. It was very crooked, but there was a shape, a human shape, or a bear, maybe a rabbit. Layla wasn't sure, but it was a toy. She took another fabric scrap, a yellow piece. She sewed a small dress, put it on the toy, took the pink button, sewed it on the chest. Then, with black thread, she embroidered 2 eyes, a mouth. It was simple, but it looked like a face. She held it in her hands, looked at it, smiled. It was her first smile in 3 days. Sami woke up, rubbed his eyes. "What are you doing?" he asked. Layla turned to him, showed him the toy. "I made something for you." Sami's eyes widened. He looked at the toy, slowly reached out, took it, turned it in his hands. "Is it mine?" "It's yours." Sami pressed the toy to his chest, smiled. "I love it," he said. "I love it so much." Layla felt warmth inside. For the first time in 3 days, she felt good. "Good," she said. "What should we name her?" Sami thought. "Lulu," he finally said. "Her name is Lulu. Perfect. Wait, don't miss this detail." The next day, Sami went outside with Lulu, played, showed her off. Other children in the camp saw. They came closer. "What's that?" someone asked. "My toy," Sami said proudly. "My sister made it." The children looked at Layla. Layla was sitting in front of the tent. "You made it?" a little girl asked. Layla nodded. "Yes." "Can you make one for me?" Layla paused. Could she? She had materials. A little. "What do you want?" she asked. "A doll," the girl said. "A pink doll." "Okay," Layla said. "But it takes time. It'll be ready tomorrow." The girl smiled. "Thank you." That day, 3 more children came. They all wanted toys. Layla said yes to all of them. She didn't know how she'd do it, but she'd try. That night, Layla sewed until morning. Wounds opened on her fingers. Her eyes burned, but she didn't stop. She made 4 toys: a doll, a bear, a rabbit, a cat. None of them were perfect, but you could tell what they were. In the morning, the children came. Layla gave them the toys. The children shouted with joy, hugged them, ran, played. Layla watched them. Her heart ached, because their happiness was born from Layla's pain. While they received toys, Layla was still thinking about Amira, but she said nothing, just smiled. Throughout the day, more children came. They all wanted toys, Layla promised, but there was a problem. The materials were running out. "I need to find more fabric," she said to herself. The next day, she went back to the ruins, this time farther, to the remains of other houses. She was entering without permission, but she didn't care. She was looking for fabric, thread, buttons. In one place, she found an old curtain. It was blue, torn but usable. She took it. In another place, she found a pillowcase. It was green. She took that too. In one room, she found a sewing box. Inside were colorful threads, needles, buttons. It was like treasure. She took it. When she returned to the camp, she had a bag on her shoulder. It was heavy, but worth it. Now she could make more toys. What you're about to see now changes everything. 2 weeks passed. Layla made toys every day, from morning to evening. Her hands were now swollen, wounded, but she didn't stop. Because if she stopped, what would she do? She'd have to think. Think about her father. Think about her home. Think about Amira. Sewing didn't make her forget, but it kept her busy, and it made others happy. That was reason enough. One day, an old woman came. "My dear," she said, "are you the one making these toys?" "Yes," Layla said. The woman smiled. "They're beautiful. But do you know what would be even better?" "What?" "If we made them together." The woman sat down, showed Layla how to make neater stitches, how to stuff toys with old socks and fabric scraps, how to embroider faces. "My grandmother taught me," the woman said. Now I'm teaching you. Layla learned. She learned quickly because she wanted to learn. She wanted to do better. Other women came too. Young mothers, elderly aunts. They all wanted to help. They all knew something. One knew knitting. One knew sewing machine techniques, and even without a machine, she taught hand sewing methods. One knew embroidery. The front of the tent became a small workshop. Women sat, chatted, and sewed. Children came and went, taking toys. What should we call this place? Someone asked. Layla thought. Hope Workshop, she said, because this place makes hope. The women liked it. Hope Workshop, they repeated. Layla felt it for the first time, a sense of community. She wasn't alone. Yes, Mom was still silent. Yes, Dad was gone. Yes, Amira was lost. But here, in front of this tent, with the women, with the children, there was something. It felt like belonging. You won't believe it, but hope was still there. One evening when Layla entered the tent, she found her mother different. She was still sitting in the corner, but this time she wasn't leaning against the wall. She was holding something in her hands. Layla came closer, looked. It was a fabric scrap, red fabric. One of the pieces Layla had collected. Mom was folding it, unfolding it, folding it again. Mom? Layla said. Mom raised her head. There was something in her eyes. For the first time. A spark of life. I can sew this, Mom said. Her voice was hoarse, because she hadn't spoken in 2 weeks. Show me how you did it. Layla's heart stopped, then raced. Really? Really? Layla sat next to her, showed her the needle, the thread, the simple stitch. Mom watched, then tried. Her hands were trembling. The first stitch was crooked, but she did it. Good, Layla said. Very good. Mom tried again. This time it was better. Then one more, then one more. Slowly, her hands remembered. She used to know. It was a long time ago, but she remembered. For 2 hours they sewed together. They didn't talk. They just sat side by side and sewed. Layla looked at her mother's face. For the first time in 2 weeks, she really saw her mother. She was still tired, still broken, but she was there. She was coming back. That night, Layla fell asleep smiling for the first time in 2 weeks. In the 4th week, Layla got very tired. Every day, from morning to evening, she was making toys. Her hands were now swollen. Her fingers hurt. Her back was stiff, but she didn't stop because the children kept coming and Layla couldn't say no. One night it got very late. Everyone was asleep. Mom was asleep. Sami was asleep. Layla was still sewing. One last toy. A child was coming tomorrow. She'd promised, but she was so tired. Her eyes were closing. Her hands were shaking. She couldn't hold the needle. Then it happened. The needle slipped, pierced her finger, deep. Layla moaned in pain. She pulled out the needle. Blood came, a lot of blood. She brought her finger to her mouth, sucked on it. But the blood didn't stop. Tears came. She couldn't control them. She started crying silently. I'm a child too, she whispered. No one heard. I'm only 10 years old. I'm tired too. I'm hurting too. She dropped the needle, dropped the toy, brought her hands to her face, cried. For the first time in 2 weeks, she really cried. Silently, but deeply. I want Amira too, she said. I want a toy too. I just want to be a child too. A hand touched her shoulder. Layla flinched, turned. Her mother. She'd woken up. She was seeing her daughter, really seeing her for the first time. Layla, Mom said. Her voice was broken but soft. I'm sorry. For what? For everything. For being a burden to you. For leaving you alone. For forgetting that you're hurting too. Mom hugged Layla. For the first time in 2 weeks, Layla held onto her mother, cried. Mom cried too. They cried together. You're incredible, Mom said. You're 10 years old, but you're a hero. You carried me. You carried Sami. You carried the whole camp. I'm tired, Layla whispered. I know, but you're not alone anymore. I'm back. Now we'll carry it together." But Layla didn't know yet that the most beautiful surprise was approaching. The next morning, Mom got up, made breakfast, for the first time in 2 weeks. Sami was very surprised but happy. Layla was happy too. "I'll do it today," Mom said. "You rest. But rest, Layla. It's my turn." Layla didn't argue. She was so tired. She lay down, slept until noon. When she woke up, Mom was sitting in front of the tent, sewing, talking with other women, smiling. Layla went outside. "Good morning," she said. "It's afternoon now," Mom said. "But good morning." The women laughed. Layla laughed too. She sat down, picked up a toy, started sewing. But this time, it was different. Mom was next to her. She wasn't alone. In the afternoon, a little girl came, maybe 6 years old. She approached shyly. "Hello," she said. "Hello," Layla said. The girl brought her hand from behind her back. She was holding something, a dirty piece of fabric. It was torn, dusty. But Layla recognized it. Her heart stopped. That fabric, that color, that pattern. "Where did you find this?" she asked. Her voice was trembling. "In the rubble," the girl said. "Next to our house. It was pretty. I took it. But it's torn. Can you fix it?" Layla took the fabric, held it in her hands. She knew this fabric. It was Amira's dress. Amira's pink dress. Just a piece. The doll itself wasn't there, but a piece of her dress. Tears came. "Yes," she said. "I can fix it." The girl smiled. "Thank you." She ran off. Layla looked at the fabric, squeezed it in her palm. Mom noticed. "What is it?" "Amira's dress," Layla said. "A piece of it." Mom came to her side, looked at the fabric, hugged Layla. "Let's make something," she said. "Together." That evening, Mom and Layla sewed together. They made a small toy, a new doll, and they dressed it with the fabric piece from Amira's dress, right on the chest, where the heart would be. "What should we name her?" Mom asked. Layla thought. "Hope," she said. "Her name is Hope." "Perfect," Mom said. Layla held Hope. She wasn't Amira. She could never be Amira, but she was something. She carried a piece of Amira, and that was enough. And just when she was about to give up, the real miracle happened. In the 6th week, Hope Workshop grew. It wasn't just in front of Layla's tent anymore. They'd been given a special area in the camp. A bigger tent, tables, chairs, and materials from donations. Fabrics, threads, buttons, stuffing. Layla wasn't alone anymore. 10 women were working in the workshop. They came every day, sewed together. From early morning to late evening, they were making toys. Not just for children in the camp, but children from other camps had started coming too. One day a journalist came, took photos, talked to Layla. "Was this your idea?" she asked. "Yes," Layla said. "It started from my brother, then it grew, in the most." "How old are you?" 10. The journalist was surprised. "Only 10? "Yes. But sometimes I feel older." "Why do you do this?" Layla stopped. Thought. "Because children deserve toys. Even when there's war, even when there's pain. Children should be children. And toys make them feel like children." The journalist took notes. "You lost your father, didn't you?" "Yes. And your own toy, too." "Yes. Amira. But now I have Hope." "Hope?" Layla showed her Hope. Showed her the fabric piece on her chest. "A piece of Amira is here. Now Amira lives inside Hope." The journalist wiped her eyes, took her photo. A week later, the story came out, in a major newspaper. The headline, "10-year-old hero, sewing hope among the ruins." When people saw it, support started coming. More materials, more volunteers. Women from other camps came. "We want to learn too," they said. Layla taught them all. How to sew, how to make toys, how to make hope. But fate had one more test for her. At the end of the 9th week, it happened again. Midnight. rumbling. Then an explosion. Close, very close. As soon as Layla woke up, she grabbed Sammy. Mom woke up too. "Quick," Layla said. They went outside, ran, to the safe area. Everyone in the camp was running. There were screams, crying, chaos. Layla held Sammy tight. Mom was beside them. They reached the safe area, tried to breathe. "Where did it hit?" someone asked. "I don't know, but it was close." When morning came, they learned. It had hit the workshop. The big tent was gone. The tables were destroyed. The toys were scattered. Everything was buried under rubble. When Layla went there, she just stared, couldn't speak. Everything they'd done for weeks, gone, in 1 second. The women came too. They all stood silently. Some cried, some just stared. "What do we do now?" someone asked. Layla didn't answer. She didn't know. She was so tired, so broken. Could she start again? Could she do it again? Then she heard a small voice. "Sister?" She turned. A small child was looking. He was holding a toy, a torn, dusty toy. But he was still holding it. "Can you fix this?" he asked. Layla looked at the child, then at the toy, then at the women, then at where the rubble was. "Yes," she said. Her voice was determined. "I can fix it." A woman came to her side. "Will you start again?" "Yes." Because stopping means they win. But if we continue, life wins. The women looked at each other, then smiled. "Then we're with you." That day they started again, in a smaller area, with fewer materials. But they started. Because children deserve toys, and they were determined to provide them. And that night, Layla made a decision. At the beginning of the 11th week, Layla woke up one morning, early as usual. But this morning was different. She felt something, a lightness. The weight inside her had lessened a bit. She took Hope, looked at her. Amira's fabric was still there, on the chest, where the heart would be. Layla touched it. "Hello, Amira," she whispered. "I miss you. Every day I miss you, but I know you didn't leave. You're here, in Hope, and in all the other toys, because I thought of you while making each one." No tears came this time, only peace came. "Now I understand," she said. "You didn't get lost. You're just with me in another way." She went outside. Mom was making breakfast. Sami was playing with Lulu. The sun was rising. It was a new day. She went to the workshop. The women were starting to arrive. "Good morning, Layla," they said. "Good morning." She sat down, took the needle, took the thread, took a fabric scrap, started sewing. A new toy, maybe a cat, maybe a dog. She didn't know yet, but she'd make it, because this is what life is. You lose, you cry, but then you get up, and you start making again. 2 years later, Layla was 13 years old. She'd grown. She was taller. Her voice had changed, but her eyes were still the same. Deep eyes. Eyes that had seen too much. Hope Workshop had become an organization. It wasn't just a tent anymore. There was a real building, built with donations. 50 women were working. They were making thousands of toys, sending them all over Gaza, even to other countries. Layla still came, a few days a week, because she was now attending school full-time, studying her lessons, dreaming. She wanted to be a teacher when she grew up, or a social worker. She didn't know yet, but something that helped people. One day after school, she stopped by the workshop. Mom was there. She still came every day, sewing, smiling. The old mom had returned. Not completely, because the pain never completely goes away, but she was living. And that was enough. "Hello, Mom," Layla said. "Hello, dear. How was school?" "It was good. I did well on the math test. Well done." Layla looked around. Women were working. Children were getting toys. Everything was moving, alive, full of hope. Sammy came. He was 7 years old now. He was going to school. He had friends. He was smiling. He still carried Lulu sometimes. But now he had other toys too. Real toys. Plastic cars. Balls. But Lulu was special. Because his sister had made it. "Sister," Sammy said, "look what I made." He showed a drawing. He'd drawn it at school. A family picture. Mom, Layla, himself. And in the sky, 2 stars. One was Dad, the other. Layla didn't know. Maybe Amira. Maybe someone else. But they were stars, watching from above. "It's very beautiful," Layla said. It really was. When evening came, Layla walked to their home, or rather, their permanent housing unit. It wasn't a tent anymore. With Mom and Sammy, the 3 of them walked together, like a family. Incomplete but whole, broken but healed. At home, Layla picked up Hope. She didn't hug her as often anymore, because she was growing up. But sometimes, she still did, especially on difficult days. "Hello, Hope," she said. "Hello, Amira." She looked outside. Through the window, the sky was orange, the sun was setting. A new day was ending. A new day would begin. And Layla understood. This was what life was like. There were losses. There was pain. But there were also beginnings. There was also hope. Her childhood had been stolen. Yes. At 10 years old, she'd had to live like she was 20. Yes. But she'd survived. And she hadn't just survived. She'd lived. She'd loved. She'd created. She'd given hope to others. And maybe that was heroism. Not grand gestures. Just getting up every day, taking the needle, sewing, smiling, continuing. Layla put hope in her place, lay down on her bed, closed her eyes. Tomorrow was a new day. New toys would be made. New children would smile. New hopes would be born. And Layla would be there. Because this was resistance. This was life. Continuing to breathe. Continuing to love. Continuing to create. Even among the ruins. Even in pain. Even in loss. Hope was always there. You just had to look. And Layla had seen it. Some stories don't end with a happy ending. Some stories don't end with stolen childhoods. Some stories end with big miracles made by small hands, and that is enough.